Hi everyone, my name is Simão. I'm from Portugal. Welcome to my new chess channel called Get Gambit. Today, we will be debuting a new series called 2 Minutes to Move. What we'll be seeing throughout this series is a bunch of exercises that I collected from my games mainly, but from other people's games as well. And what I want you to do is to think about the position only for 2 minutes. We all know that we don't have infinite time to play chess, right? Even if we're playing a classical game, we have to manage our clock throughout the game. So sometimes it's not possible for us to take the best path or the best move. We have to do the best available move or the best available variation for the time that we have on the clock. So I would suggest that you collect a proper chess set, but you can use an online board as well. So whatever fits best for you. And we're ready to go. Come with me. Let's get on to business. Welcome back, everyone. So we have our first position set on the board. It's black to play. So you can see that white has just moved his knight from c3 to e2 to block the second rank. And of course, this bishop on f4 is attacked. So what should black do? Should black just retreat with the bishop to e5, to d6? Should he support it with g5? Or should he do something else? I don't know. So it's up to you to decide. Good luck. Please don't forget that you only have 2 minutes after you set the position on the board to come with whichever variation works best for you. Don't cheat because otherwise I will be knowing. So the clock is ticking. No more messing up with your heads. Good luck. See you soon with a solution. Bye. Hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you have enjoyed yourself in the last couple of minutes or so. And I'm really looking forward to know your answers and thoughts about this position. So please don't forget to leave them in the comment section. And I'm also looking forward to know whether you've analyzed the position for only 2 minutes or if you've had the temptation to keep going even after time had run out, or if you didn't even pause the video and stay there just waiting for the solution because you're having like a lazy day or so. No judgment there. We all have those kinds of days, don't we? Okay, let's get going. So this is from a game of mine played in 2013, well, 11 years ago. It's from a Portuguese tournament called Cucujens, and I was black. I was playing Rui Guimarães, which is a former teammate of mine, and so it was a very tense game with chances for both sides. And we ended up in this middle game where I've managed to get some advantage with black. You can see that this dark square bishop has a very good scope here, and our black rook has managed to enter the second rank. And well, we can see that black has a very clear advantage here. So after 2 minutes thought, if you've reached a conclusion that the best move for black is just to retreat the bishop with a move like bishop e5, well, fair enough. That is a very good option. In fact, the computer thinks that black is winning in this position. Well, I can say that it seems a little bit exaggerated because black still has a lot of work to do to convert this position in a win. But if you're a risk-free player, then I do believe that this is the right option for you, and you can just slow pace and keep going with the advantage and not going for anything crazy because you weren't able to calculate anything in 2 minutes. So fair enough, thumbs up for you. It happens that actually there is a way for black to force matters in this position and to get a direct and concrete win. So, I think this is a moment in the game where calculation is required. It is a critical moment. And it is a critical moment because white's king is not very safe, it's a little bit insecure, and white's pieces are a little bit clumsy as well. You can see that the knight on e2 is only protected by the queen on c4, and the queen doesn't have so many safe squares available. And this knight on e2 is also like blocking the second rank, which is very important for black's attack. So when we are calculating, we should always look for forcing moves first, and those are checks, captures, and threats. As you can see, there is no check available in the position, and the captures aren't that great as well. We could think about sacking the exchange by taking on e2, but that wouldn't be very good. We don't have enough compensation, and the rook on d2 is such a strong piece that we wouldn't want to give it away for the knight on e2. So if checks and captures aren't available, we should be looking for threats. But then again, our bishop on f4 is also threatened, right? So we have to create a higher threat for white. What is a higher threat for white in this position? Well, I gave you a small hint in the title of the video by talking about the decoy. So the first move is pawn to b5. So if white just moves the queen away with a move like queen b3 or queen c3, then this will be no problem at all for black. We'll just take the knight on e2 and we're a full piece up with no compensation. This is just a winning position, right? So, well, this would be too easy for a first puzzle, wouldn't it? But of course, things are not that simple, and I'm pretty sure that Hui had foreseen this when he played knight e2, because as far as I remember, he played his next move fairly quickly. And white used the same principle that we used to get to the candidate move b5. So the queen is attacked, the queen cannot move, so white has to create a bigger threat than the queen. And what is a bigger threat than the queen? Well, a queen and a piece is better than just a queen. And of course, the move that we're talking about is knight takes f4. And this is a very critical move, and it is a move that we really have to calculate when we play b5. Okay, it is a forcing move, it is a capture, and of course you can see the position of the black queen and king. This position should scream knight fork into your eyes. I mean, there is this e6 square available for a knight to get there and just create havoc. So, of course, if we play the automatic move, which is b takes c4, that would be very good, to say the least, because it's really a huge blunder. After knight e6 check, white will just take the queen back on c7 and end up a full piece up in the endgame, so black is lost in this position. Of course, I know none of you will play that in a classical game. So we have to look into other options. A candidate move that really entered my eyesight when I was analyzing this in the game was, of course, queen takes f4, and this is also a very forcing move. So it takes away the knight, it recovers the piece, and of course, black is threatening mate in 1, queen h2 mate. So as white's queen is still threatened on c4, white has no other option than to take the queen on f4, and we'll take on c4, and we reach a rook endgame. Now, at first sight, I thought, well, this should be winning for black because I have a rook on the 7th, white's king is cut away, these pawns seem, well, not lost, but almost lost, and this rook on f4 is really badly placed. So yeah, it seems that black is winning this one. And in fact, if white plays a normal move like king g1 or c3 or even b3, well, white is losing this position because black will end up a pawn up, and with the king cut off on the first rank and a passive rook on f4, the extra pawn will do its job, and black, with precise play, will be able to convert the winning endgame. But we always have to look out for the resources of our opponents. And in this exact position, white has a beautiful resource available, which is pawn to e5. This is a very easy move to overlook when we are calculating, because of course it happens on a protected square. We can see that the e5 square is controlled by our pawn on f6. So what is white trying to do? Well, white is trying to unmask the fourth rank for his own rook. If we take on e5, which is the best move of the position, then white will take on c4, and he will protect the c2 pawn, making sure that black is not breaking through on the queen side, also looking to take away the c6 pawn. And, well, we can say that black is still slightly better in this endgame, mainly because of the e5 pass pawn, and also white's king on h1 is still far away from the fight. But we know that rook endings have a really high drawing tendency, so I think it will be really difficult for black to get a full point in this position. Also, if we go back a couple moves, if we don't take on e5 but take on c2 instead, then white will play e takes f6 check, protected by the rook, and after king f7, g5 creates a protected pass pawn, and it means that white's rook is now ready to take another role in the game. For example, the h4 pawn is already under attack. And honestly, I think that, of course, the draw is the most likely result in this position, but I would rather take white because the black pawn structure is somehow wrecked, and this pawn on f6 keeps the black's king tied down to its defense. So I think that this is not a favorable rook ending for black. Now, if we go back, because this was almost the solution, but not quite. So if we go back to this position, there is a winning move for black in this position. What is the winning move? The winning move is rook h2 check. Well, we have all been on the receiving end of a move like this, and the feeling is just, where did this even come from? Is this even a legal move? I mean, I remember the feeling when I was calculating this line and I saw this move and I thought, wow, I gotta check if this works, because if it works, it's like the beauty of chess, isn't it? So what is the point of a move like this, rook h2 check? To begin with, this is a forcing move. It is a check. It leaves white with only two legal possibilities. White has to either take this rook or play king g1. Well, if white plays king g1, then there's another intermediate check, queen b6 check. And, well, you can interpose the queen or the rook, but obviously that would be nonsense, so white really has to take the rook now. And now you can see the point. We'll just take the queen on c4, and there isn't any problem with a knight check on e6 now, because our queen has gone off the c7 square. So if knight e6 check, we'll just take the king away, and we're up in material. So if we go back a couple moves, after rook h2 check, the best move for white is, of course, to take this rook. So why has black sacrificed his rook? Well, after b takes c4, now we can see the point. It's a new decoy in the position. The king on h2 self-pins the knight on f4, so that this double attack, this fork on e6, is not possible anymore because the knight is pinned. So we just drive the king into the h2 square so that everything works out for us, and, well, we end up being material up. There are some positions where the rook and the knight, when well coordinated, can actually be equal to a queen and be able to secure the draw. But we have a very open position with some weaknesses in white's camp, starting by the queenside pawns, and also the position of the king can be checked a lot, and a queen likes playing on an open board. So with some precise moves, I was able to convert my advantage. We can see the rest of the game. So white played king g2, I played queen e5 to centralize my queen, and after rook f2, I took on e4. You can see there was a double attack to the e4 pawn and to the b2 pawn. Now, I took on e4, but with some hindsight, like I think I should tell my 11-year younger me that I do believe that taking on a b2 is better, because this pawn is dropping quite soon. The rook and the knight are very far away from the queen side, and I think this a pawn is able to decide the game. But well, taking on e4 is not bad either. And after a couple moves, I was able to win the h3 pawn. So you can see the knight is attacked, and the knight is again overloaded to the defense of the h3 pawn. And soon enough, the g4 pawn dropped as well, and now you can see that white is hopeless. I can just push my pawns further, and in this position, Hui resigned because, well, the h pawn is promoting. So thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video. I promise I will be back as soon as possible with more content. Please don't forget to subscribe this YouTube channel as well as following my Instagram page. I'll leave the links below. This journey is only possible with you guys by my side. Thank you so much for the support, and feel free to give me any suggestions, anything that you think would be nice to be seen in the videos. And if you want to come and say hi, please be free. I promise I'll be kind. And well, I'll see you guys soon. Enjoy, take care of each other. I'm sending lots of love, and I'll be back soon. Bye.